There we go. Happy Friday. How is everybody doing today? Hello, hello. I am Elizabeth with Elizabeth Road Studio, and I am a glass and resin artist. But tonight we're going to have some special fun because I'm going to show you how to make paper flowers. If you know me at all, I do all different kinds of making things with my hands. And paper flowers are just one of those things I love to make. We just had a great art retreat in New Mexico. And when trying to figure out how we were going to decorate the space for our giant retreat, for our big wall that we wanted pictures in front of, we were trying to figure out if we could do balloons because we were all traveling in from out of state. Anyway, I was like, I'll make paper flowers. They're so easy. I can just pack my paper and scissors and glue gun and we're good to go. And so that's what I did. So now I get to show you how to do it because everybody wanted to learn. Hello, Sandy and Gloria and Pam and Linda, Rachel and Holly. Look at all my friends on here. I'm so glad y'all are here. Okay, while I was waiting for you guys for this to start, I made a giant rose kind of peony flower. I'm assuming this is a rose. I don't know. I don't get hung up on, I don't know how to hold this up. I really don't get hung up on the types of flowers I'm making. I'm more excited about just making something that is beautiful, that when you put a whole bunch together, people go, oh, those are flowers. Thank you. Hi, Bernadette. Hi, Elizabeth. Okay, so this piece here took about, I think I used 11 sheets of paper. I told you 10, but it really just depends on how you make it. So let's just go ahead and get started. Okay. Hi. Okay. So this one, I'm just going to set this aside over here. Maybe it'll show up in the background. I don't know. Let me make the big picture here. I'm doing these for a friend of mine who is a guidance counselor at a school, and she just got a new classroom for her guidance. And so she told me the colors that she was doing. Let me grab some colors that are going to show up really well. So, that just slid down. So I'm going to start out with this paper. And what I usually do is kind of buy a couple of the big packs. This is what the label looks like from Michael's. It says Recollections, and you get a variety of colors. I usually buy a couple of these, and then I break them up and put all the light colors together because you want as many as you can have, right? As many pages as you can get. So I think there's 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so there's 10 here. I personally freehand all of this because I think it's the easiest way to do it. So I'm going to show you the shape I'm going to cut, but then I'm going to freehand it, okay? So this is kind of the general shape for one of these big flowers. I'm going to turn it sideways, and I want to take advantage of as much space as possible for these outer petals. So that's just kind of the shape I'm going to make. And I have these giant scissors. I don't know how big. Let me measure. The blade on these is like 5 or 6 inches. These are a big pair of scissors. And I have pretty small hands. So I'm going to stack 4 sheets together. When I say I make these quick, I mean it. We're going to do them quickly. So I'm just going to kind of cut out my shape here. Now, I typically do not draw on them. I usually just kind of create this organic curve. I go in and out with my scissors and just kind of, I'm not even following that I drew because I want to make these as big as possible. Okay, so then I have this shape, and I have 4 of these, and that cut through that really easily. Okay. Hi, hello everybody. Okay, so once I get a stack of 4 petals done, then I want to start assembling them. So I cut about 5 or 6 inches up on the end that's going to be connected. And I like to either take the edge of the counter or the edge, I usually do it in my kitchen. So the edge of the counter is like a straight, sharp edge. This is like a curved edge. But either way, you can just kind of roll this back and forth across the edge of the counter. and you get a little bit of a curve to it. Now, to get this kind of a curve that we have on this one, look how extreme that curve is. I take a stick. This is not even a, you can use a skewer, you can use anything. You want it maybe a little bit thicker than a skewer, and you just grab that paper and roll it. Paper is so, look, I even did it on an angle. Paper is so forgiving. You can really manhandle it. You can really adjust it and curve it and kind of do all kinds of things to it, especially like this thicker cardstock paper. Now, you can't use like, printer paper, but cardstock paper, you can always roll. And I'm going to roll them first, but you can roll them afterwards too. See how that even went at an angle? That's okay. Do that with all of these. And sometimes I roll two at the same time. I have never made paper flowers when I wasn't in a hurry. So that's probably why I make them so quickly, right? Because I'm always in a hurry when I'm making them. Yeah, do you make the little paper flowers? I have done some of those and put them in a little shadow box. You might have seen them on my page here. Okay, so then I have my glue gun. So I have 4 of these that I've kind of rolled. And I'm going to take this slit right here, and I'm going to just put a bit of glue on that, and I'm going to curve this together like so. Now, I could do it the other way, and then the curl on this would be facing outward, right? Or I can do it this way, and then the curl is going to come even more. So let me show you what it looks like if I do it the other way, where I flip this over and grab this. See how that perks that up and makes that curl back? Isn't that fun? I like that shape. And then you can keep adjusting it if it's too curved for you. So let's do another one. So this one has the marker on it. I'm going to curl this the other way. Hold on, because I don't want that marker to show. Since these are going in somebody's. Yeah, you put them in the vase. That's so cool. I put mine in a little shadow box, but I can show you a picture of that. I didn't bring it up here, but okay. So it doesn't matter. You can cross left over right, right over left. That's not going to matter. So put the curl down and just cross the legs. It looks like its legs are crossed, right? And I'm kind of sloppy with this, but you're never going to see any of this stuff. Elizabeth, that's a good idea, but I really never write on my paper. I just always kind of freehand it. I just showed you that to show you what kind of shape we were going for. Okay, here's something. When I first started doing these, I would take a piece of paper and cut a circle and then attach all of these to a circle. But let me show you. Now I just overlap them, and that saves even more paper. See how I just overlap them on the back? There's no circle that they're attached to. Then you can just glue this. Just put glue all around here to stick it to whatever you're sticking it to. In the case of the retreat, we stuck it to a banner. Sometimes I'll stick it to a post, or there's all kinds of things that you can stick them to. So I'm just gonna overlap these. Now, if you bring these in closer, then your flower is going to be smaller. The further apart you put them, and it doesn't matter what order, it doesn't matter if they overlap, you want them to overlap, but it doesn't matter if, this is sitting on top of these or this one's underneath those. That doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And in fact, the more variation you provide, the more interesting your flowers are going to be. Okay, so we have this base here. Look how big that is. All right, I'm going to move that aside. We're not going to look at that for now. Now I'm going to take my next section, and I'm going to take three sheets of paper, and I'm going to fold them in half on the diagonal. And I want to get as much as I can out of this paper. So I'm going to make these petals as big as I can make them, but still make them a curvy shape. Let's see, put that down the middle. Use as much of that paper as possible. And I'll save all these and set that aside. Yep, it's 12 by 12 cardstock, scrapbooking cardstock, you know, that you get in a paper pack. Same deal. We're going to do the same deal. We can curl these if we want to, or we don't have to. Sometimes I've done them and never not curled them at all. I think curling them does make them a little more interesting. It makes them stand off your base just a little bit, which makes it prettier, I think. But that's up to you. You have tons of paper. It's a great use for paper. I honestly think it would be pretty to do these with patterned paper as well. If you had, you know, 10 or 15 sheets of the same pattern, but the patterned paper is not quite as thick as this just colored paper. So I'm just still curling these just a little bit. And I have done these before and put them outside. They were in a barn and it was kind of a humid day. So I don't recommend that because they do want to kind of flop. But they held up for a little while. It was for a prom dinner. Okay, same deal. I'm going to let this curl go on the back. And depending on how tight you pull that, the curvier your petal is going to be. I glued it to my table. Same deal. Across those legs. Pattern paper would be pretty. And there is patterned cardstock. Okay. You could also, I've seen people do this. I have never done it, but you can also use spray paint and spray paint the edges of the paper just very lightly, very, very lightly. Like in this case, you might do like a lighter blue, or you might do a darker blue or something like that, like a coordinating color. And that's going to add just a little more depth. Okay, so now we have 6 of these little guys. Bring my paper in. So far we've used 7 sheets. Now, when I'm looking at this, I'm going to slide these back a little bit. I don't want them in too far because then there's a huge gap between the outside and the inside, okay? Yes, and ink the edges. Yep. And I'm going to try to position these so that they're in between 2 of the bigger ones. Do you see that? Okay, I'm out of glue. Y'all know this trick. You put glue on the end of your hot glue. Whoop! I just drizzled hot glue on there. It's okay though. Okay, see how I'm not sticking these overlapping in the middle because these are they're not quite in between the size. They're kind of smaller. That's okay. And if you feel like you need a little reinforcement up underneath there, you can do that. Where I dripped that, I'm going to try to pull that off there. Well, hello, Shirley. How are you? Oh, I just love Portia to pieces. Okay. I feel like she's part of my family. All right, then I'm going to go in with the next layer. So I just have 2 of these. Let's see if we can make an impact. So I'm coming in a little bit closer. Thank you, Christy. How are you tonight? Christy, I was making them at the retreat, and Christy was like, what can I do? What can I do? And I was just cutting, gluing. And I was like, I got it. Okay, so I think I want to do maybe 1 in an in-between size. Maybe I'll do 2 in an in-between size. So I don't quite want to do it half, and I don't want to use the full sheet. So I'm going to come in. I have been spending lots of time in the sun. Absolutely. I'm going to come in and do just 2 petals that are kind of in between, not quite. And look how wonky they are. But y'all, that's okay. That's okay. They're not quite the smallest and they're not the biggest. I just feel like I need to put a couple in here. So let me curve these a little bit. And that's the beauty of this. You can continue to add petals. If you have more paper, if you're like, I need to get more of that color, so I'm going to, go get them tomorrow, go get more of that color paper tomorrow or whatever. You can go ahead and make your flower. Let's do this one. This is the in-between size. You can go ahead and make your flower and then add in some of the petals, if you feel like it's not quite full enough, the next day. So I feel like we need one right here. So I'm going to put some glue on the bottom of that right there. And I'm just going to tuck that sucker right in there. Look how that just kind of filled that out quite a bit right there. And let's see. I'm going to make this flower kind of face down. So maybe I'll put one right here. You can stick it in there and see if that's where you like it. And then, and then glue it. I'm all about testing the waters first. There we go. Okay, I kind of like that. All right, then we have one full sheet left and 2 of these little sections left. We're not going to throw anything away here. Okay, let's do some smaller ones for the inside. I'm going to make this one into 4ths. Just fold this into 4ths. And in order to get the biggest petal out of it, you're going to use this as your base and cut your petals this way. Just kind of cut a curvy line. You don't need a pattern for that. We'll just cut these apart. It's like a butterfly, doesn't it? Cut these apart so that we have 4 smaller petals. And by folding the paper like that, we're using the most that we possibly can. We're having as little waste as possible because paper is not cheap, especially scrapbook paper like this. Although it's good when it's on sale, for sure. Okay, so now when we're getting in here to the center part, we can fold these up kind of tight. Look at that. Look how tight we could get that. Or we could leave it kind of big like that. I think I'm going to do some of them. I don't know. We'll see. I've got 4 here. So let's just I'm going to fold that over. Maybe I'll curl this in a little bit. I know. I love those sales too, Shirley. Tell you what, I really miss the Hobby Lobby coupon, that they quit doing a few years ago. But it seems to me that Michael's stepped up their sale when Hobby Lobby went back on theirs. I don't know. I understand why they had to do it, but and Hobby Lobby still has really good sales. I always wait, if I have to get something, I'll wait until I absolutely have to. Okay, so I just kind of curved that with my hands. I'll do this one. The whole thing that I'm doing is trying to make sure I'm conserving as much paper as possible when I do this. Let's see, I can curve this one. Cricut cardstock. I don't know that I've ever used Cricut cardstock. Is it thicker? I don't know that I've ever used Cricut cardstock. Cricut brand, I guess. I know they do look like paper butterflies. Wooden paper butterflies look pretty with these flowers. I think they would. Okay, so now we've kind of got these curling in. These are curling out. This one's going to look different than our other one. Oh, I have one more petal. That's like this. Oh, I forgot to curve it. I'll curve it while I'm holding that. Huh, I've never seen it, Shirley. Marshall, let's make some paper butterflies. I think that would be so fun. I have to do that another time. I'm going to run out of time tonight. Okay, so now I'm gonna shove this one down in there. Look at that. Just straight down in there. Okay, so we're looking pretty good. Let me get, oh my gosh, thank you so much for watching, Lisa. Thank you. Okay, so now I have this big section where I cut out those two, it's two pieces, cut out that middle-sized petal. I'm going to make this into a center. And I'm just going to cut a weavy shape. It looks like a big worm caterpillar situation. Okay. So now I have this card shape, mostly because I'm just using all of the paper that I possibly can. Okay. I don't want to waste anything. So I'm going to curve this around. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I'm going to put some glue right here on the end and tuck this in like so. We're going to make the center of this flower. And then I'll just roll this around. Look at that. We've got a center. Right? Hi, Barbara. How are you? Okay, then we can just set that right down in there, can't we? So sometimes when I've done this, my base is too tall. That one's actually okay, but sometimes my base is too tall, so I'll show you what I do. I just fold that and I cut that off. Just like that, just cut it right off. And then I have a base that kind of sits down inside there. That's the thing. You don't have to be scared of messing anything up. First of all, it's just paper. Second of all, just manhandle it. Just grab it. Hi, Kay. How are you? Okay, so then we have our center. Look at that. So we don't really need this piece, but if we wanted to, we could add one more. We could put that right there. Maybe I should do that. I think I will do that. Okay, so I've got this right here. One more of these. Oh, yes, Bernie, you need these in your she shed. Yeah, it's only paper. That's right. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of put some glue along that edge. And then I'll tuck this down here and put some glue along this other edge. Get down in here with the glue. Just like that. Hold it for just a second. All right, so you guys, we used 10 sheets of 12 by 12. I'm going to make this the big picture here so you can see just how big this flower is. And when we have this one, I'm going to show you another one too. We're going to keep going. And this one together, oh my gosh, and you squish them in close together to give them the biggest impact, right? I mean, they're huge. They're like 3 or 4 times the size of my head. Okay, so let's see, how long did that take us? 20 minutes? 20 minutes. I mean, I'm just as shocked as you are. It really always amazes me how quickly these come together. Let's do another one that's a little bit smaller. So this color, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces of paper. So I'm going to make the most out of it. I'm going to take 2 sheets. I'm going to start out with, I'll start out with 3 sheets. We'll start out with 3 sheets. I'm going to fold them in half. And this is textured cardstock. I needed this color in particular because my friend gave me, my teacher friend that I'm making these for, gave me paint chips. So I went over to Michael's and Hobby Lobby to try to match colors as best I could. And these are textured, and they're not quite as thick as the one that comes in the bulk paper packs. But that's okay. I'm just saying, you know, if you're paying attention to that, keep that in mind. And the textured flowers will take the light a little bit differently, which I think is fine. I like the mixture. I'm just letting you know, like if you had you know, all yellow and it looked like it was all the same color, but one was textured and one wasn't. Keep that in mind. Okay, this one I'm making a little extra. See, I've got a few extra curves instead of just the 3 big swoopy curves. I'm still going to hang on to this because I might need it. Just set that over there. So let's get it together. We're going to cut this. Y'all, I cut, how many pages was that? 3. So that was 6 pages, 6 sheets, all in one thing. I live in Bowling Green, Kentucky, home of the Corvettes. So all the Corvettes are made here. I'm still going to curl this. I'm going to curl it up. And it's kind of funky, but I like it. I like it. I like the texture. All right, let's fold these. Like I said, I gave these a little more ruffles. You can cut as many ruffles or as few ruffles as you want. Sometimes I don't do, I'm going to curl these all together. Sometimes I don't do hardly any ruffles. I just do a big swoop, like a big semicircle curve. Sometimes I cut spiky things in them, like it would be like a, I want to say dianthus. Does dianthus have spiky petals? Like a day, maybe not a daisy, but something like that. You know, like some kind of flower that has pointy petals. Sometimes I don't do very many. Sometimes I do a lot. It just depends on the mood and how much paper I have. I make up my own flowers. If somebody were to say, I want, you know, poppies and peonies and iris, I'd probably be like, no, I'm just going to make what I want. I mean, I'm sure it could be, I know we could figure it out, but I kind of think it's fun just to make up your own, you know? All right. Moving along here, and I'm making sure that my paper is all going the same way. So in this situation, because I'm going to be putting this with the other papers, I'm making sure that my texture is on the back of these. I'm just making sure that all the petals are going the same way. That's the only thing. If the texture is going to be on the front or the texture is going to be on the back, no matter what, you just want them all kind of facing the same way. Right side up, I guess. That's what I'm saying. All right, let's assemble this. I always do the biggest ones first. I build from the outside in. I don't know why. That's just how I do it. Did y'all happen to see? I'm just going to do 3 on this, okay? I'm going to build this base out of 3 petals. Did y'all happen to see what I used? I like these coils. It's a hot glue coil. Have y'all ever used that instead of the sticks? Yeah. Hi, Michelle. How are you? All right. I'm going to lay this next petal in. 3 and 3. I know, isn't the coil genius? It's really my favorite invention of the 2000s, I think. I want this one to curl a little bit more. This textured paper doesn't curl as easily as the other, but it's okay. It still curls. Okay, so now I have 2 sheets left and some scraps. Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Yes, we had a great retreat. All right, I'm going to fold this one into 4ths, and then I'll get 4 pieces out of this. All right. And I made extra little curly curves and wiggles along the edge here. And then cut this. Whoever makes butterflies, tag me in your post. Or if you make flowers, tag me in your post. The hot glue coil, I know, it's great. They have them at Hobby Lobby. I'm sure they have them everywhere, but I got mine at Hobby Lobby. I love them. Some people don't like them because it's so long, but the fact that you don't have to reload a stick, especially because those little sticks are short. They are tiny. All right. Just gonna curl some of these. Let's see. Curling the textured side. Textured side. Y'all, we still have one piece left for this little flower. I think this was the flower that my teacher friend was most excited about because she has a pillow in her room that's this color. And so she wanted this color. But sadly, they only had 5 sheets of this color paper. All right, I'm gonna, because that glue is hot, I'm gonna use that to stick it down to make it stay. I really burned my finger at the retreat putting these together, and it wasn't even a good way to burn your finger. It was really dumb. Which I guess there's never a good way, but I mean, it was like, really? We were attaching, Sean was helping me attach them to the banner, and I put my hand behind it and some glue leaked through and hit my finger. So it was, I had a big blister. It just peeled off, which is always fun, isn't it? I would love to see a butterfly too. Why don't you make one, Elizabeth? Make one for us. This paintbrush to poke these down might be my new favorite thing. Okay, let's see. I think I'll do one right there. Well, this one's looking really pretty. I know it hurt. It came through, and I should probably have this set on low temp because it really doesn't have to be high temp, but it poked through, and ooh, I screamed. And Sean had just burned himself too, so we were a mess. Y'all, this is really coming together. Okay, let's see. I think I will do, I'll fold it into fourths like this. We'll do some little petals in here. Let's see. It's getting us about the same size, not much smaller, but that's okay. And because this is such a tight space to work in, I'm going to round the center part so I don't have all those pokey pieces messing me up. And I think I will just fold these without curling them. Yep, because they'll lay in there really nice. All right. And sometimes, yeah, I should have put aloe vera on it. I didn't have any on hand. Like I said, we were in New Mexico, and they have aloe vera in New Mexico. I just didn't have any on me at the convention center. And by the time I got home that night, I was exhausted. So I wasn't going to go out looking for any. Okay. So we're really filling up this bowl area here. Now, sometimes I like to make it look like the flower is turning in one direction. And by putting the center off center, it makes it look like the flower is kind of curling that way. This one's already kind of leaning a certain way anyway. So I'm just going to I'm going to play into that. And we're going to make this flower look like it's facing down. So I have this little piece. Let's see. Squish that together. Where is everybody from? I know that I think Shirley's from Texas. And I know Elizabeth's from Texas. We had a lot of Texas people on here tonight, but Michelle is from California. Tell me what state you're from. I want to know where we're watching from tonight. So now I'm going to try to get this center down in there. Let's see if I can get this to curl around. Texas. Awesome. Florida. Oh, that's right. Elizabeth, you live in Florida, in Orlando. I used to live in Orlando. Rio Rancho, New Mexico. Awesome, Cassie. Florida coming in hot. Ooh, is it ever hot in Florida right now? Okay, now I'm just kind of trimming this because when I fold that over, it leaves a big pointy edge, and nothing takes away the look of a flower more than a big pointy pokey edge. So just when you're trimming things up, just make sure that you make the edges soft. Holy smokes, Mississippi, Virginia, wow, Alabama, Knoblich. Oh, hi, Angela. Nicholasville. So glad y'all are here tonight. 97 in Texas. Holy smokes. That is hot. Hi, Aggie. How are you tonight? Okay. So we still have a few little bits and pieces left that are just like, not full sheets, but just little bits and pieces that if we wanted to put something in the middle, we could. But I kind of like it just the way it is. Look at that. Well, hold on. Let me make this the big picture. Ohio, Missouri, Colorado. My goodness, we get a lot of places. I'm so glad y'all are joining me tonight. There we go. In Wisconsin. So I think we'll do one more. You want to do another one? The heat index is over 100 every day. Yikes. That's too much. It's just too much. Let me do a pink shade. I have this yellow, but it looks kind of green in the picture. Oh, but I'm going to save this for the center. So I'll do another pink one. Let's do a spiky pink one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to start with 4. I'm trying to do this out of 10. Okay, so I'm going to make shapes like this. It almost looks like a hand. Whoops, wrong camera. Oh, good, Valerie, you're going to do your classroom. Yay. Okay, so I'm going to keep going with this shape. When I did some flowers for a bridal shower a few months ago, lots of you all commented on them because I did all white. And I thought they looked so pretty in all white. Okay, look at that. That's like a hand. I thought they looked so pretty in all white. And I'll show you. Let me share my screen here. Oh, here are the ones I did for Red River, in case you're wondering what they all looked like together. See how I kind of squished them together? Okay, so let me find the white ones that I did. Do y'all remember those? Did y'all see those? I love the way those turned out. And I did all different petal shapes. You can see some of them are rounder and some of them have lots of little ins and outs. And then while I've got this up here, I'll show you the other ones that I did here. These are the tiny ones I did. These are just, this is in a 10 by 10 shadow box frame, and these are watercolored. So I used watercolor paper, and I painted it with watercolors first. So those are I glued them to watercolor paper and then put them in that shadow box frame. So if you're wondering what the possibilities are, let me just tell you, the possibilities are endless, absolutely endless. Yeah, I love the little ones too. That lesson is in my watercolor group, if anybody's interested in that. Okay, so let's get this weird hand looking one. the big flowers at the top of a window. I have made them for that purpose before. And I have also, like these are going around a bulletin board. These that I'm doing for my teacher friend who is going to be a guidance counselor this year. So her classroom is going to have a lot of flowers in it. So I'm starting out with these. This is going to be one that looks like, what kind of flower would this be? I don't know. Once you get all these together, man, they do look really cool though. Okay, so I didn't really curve these, but I'm going to overlap them, make my center point here. Now you might be saying, oh, you should do an odd number. I'm trying to keep the number of paper pages that I use to a minimum. I'm trying to do as few as possible. So 4 kind of works well for me. I'm going to put a couple of little dots of glue under here just because this one I didn't put as much. Your niece used all paper and wood flowers for her wedding. Oh, that's so cool. The lady that gives me my allergy shots, she used all wood flowers and dyed them herself. They were so pretty. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. Let's do the next bunch. I'm going to go ahead and do in-betweens. This is 3 pages here. And like I said, I don't like to draw on my paper. These really do look like a hand. Just pretend you're cutting out fingers. Especially in the pink. Okay, there we go. We have 3 of this size. I know it looks bigger than 12 by 12. It's not. It is not. Now, depending on how long you make this slit, and it's a frog foot. Perfect. How long you make this slit and how far over you fold it, that's how much your paper is going to stand up. Once you start doing a bunch of these, you'll kind of get a feel for how much the paper kind of stands up. And y'all, I have done these before and been like, oh, that's too much. And I cut it again and re-glue it, and it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't hurt a thing. Okay, now I'm going to go in here, and in between these, I'll put these frog feet. Oh, you have thunder in Minnesota. Yikes. We had some flash flooding, but then the sun came out. So I think this one's going to be really cool. Okay, let's do, I pulled out 10 pieces. Okay, I'm going to do these in half. And again, I feel like if I use this, hello, Kelly, how are you? Oh my gosh, I wish we could send you some rain, Shirley. We've had so much rain. And our little funky frog foot, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm going to kind of trim that in a circle just to keep that from overlap, making too big of a wad at the bottom. Oh, did y'all hear that? Sean's working in the garage. He's making, Sean is making boards for me. I have several orders I've got to get done in the next couple of weeks. So staying busy. It's dry as a bone there. Oh, I'm so sorry. This time of summer gets rough like that. We're usually pretty dry by this time, but we've had a lot of rain. I'm not complaining. Okay. Let's do this row. been a weird summer for our weather has been weird this summer, I should say. Y'all, this one's interesting, but I think it's going to be really pretty. I have one more. Oh, yep, one more right here. Oh, you're going to make them with your granddaughters. Awesome. That's so fun. Okay, now I have a lot of this left, and I could make the curvy worm caterpillar shaped situation again, but I want to bring in some yellow. And so I'm going to, this is a color in her color palette. I'm going to take this 12 by 12 paper, and I'm just going to cut a strip. I don't know, how big is that? I'm going to cut that end off there where it has the type. And I'm going to cut fringe. Not very even fringe. That's okay. I think when you have flowers, the more uneven and natural they look. The more uneven they are, the more natural they look. That's what I should say. Okay, let's see if this is going to be enough. I didn't get the barcode all the way off there. I'm going to curl this. The end, not the other end. I'm going to curl the end. The paper that you buy individually, it was not on sale today. So it was like 79 cents a sheet, I think. And so the paper packs are definitely a better deal. So I'm trying to use the stuff that didn't come in the paper packs as accent colors instead of main colors. And that's just another money saving tip. Then I'm going to roll this. I'll roll it on this. Roll this up to make the center of my flower. I know flowers in nature are not perfect. That's right. Look how perfect that is. Not perfect. Look how cute it is. Then I'm going to unroll it to make that take up a little more space. That is perfect. Let's see if we can. I'm just going to glue that little tab right here to make that inside ring what I want. Perfectly not perfect. That's exactly right. And then down here, I'm going to just glue the ends of this. I could just put a glob of glue in the bottom of the flower. That would work too. But this works. Just the tips of that, end of that. And then you've got a second or two to kind of adjust it how you want it. Oh, how fun, Kathy. That would be a great idea. That's a great idea. I mean, you could even use construction paper if you had, you know, access to construction paper. It just does fade, you know. All right. And then you can just kind of manipulate the fringe, manipulate the edges. Let me see. I like this flower. Let me make this the big picture. I'll hold it up. The other. See how I didn't curl any of those petals, but I still really like it. I like that a lot. Let's see. So if I have this one and this one together and the other two, I think it's going to be, hi Sue. I think it's going to be so cute. All right, let me show you how you can make some leaves. Let me show you how you can make some leaves. These are some of my favorite type to make. These are some of my favorite because I think I just like them. And I like to layer colors. It's kind of like a color shift. So I like to do a bright and a dark. Let's do these. So I like to have one of these and one of these together, right? So if I'm going to make one of these, I just freehand it. But I know we just talked about that, Sandy. I think it would be a great idea to ink the edges of it. I don't have the ink pads and all that stuff, but I know a lot of you that are serial crafters, like a serial killer, but you're a serial crafter. I know a lot of you that are serial crafters do, and I think they would be beautiful. You could also set them all outside and spray paint the edges. Some people do that because it's so big, you know, they're so large that taking that time, some people just whatever. Okay, so to do one of these, I just freehand it, but let me show you an easy way. If you don't want to freehand it, I'm going to do it with a Sharpie. I'm going to draw a curved line and then kind of like bones. And just do circles on the end. Okay. Then you can come in with your scissors and cut around it. Don't think it through too much. It's not that deep. It's not going to matter if you get it exactly right. We're just kind of cutting around. Pretend it's like lamination or something. You just got to leave a little bit of an edge around it. You can tell I used to volunteer in the classroom all the time teaching. I cut out all my fair share of lamination in my lifetime. So I'm just kind of cutting out like this. Oh yeah, a lot of people like to use their Cricut or their Silhouette, and I have a Silhouette. To be honest, I kind of like the natural shape when I cut it by hand, but I know not everybody's like that. And some people would rather just, you know, have it done and be done with it. And that's okay too. I've made lots of little paper houses using my Silhouette, things that I would not, you know, like a little Huts houses with lights in them for Christmas. That's something that I would not attempt to cut by hand because you have to cut out all the windows. But something like this, I kind of enjoy just cutting it by hand. You could definitely use a Silhouette or a Cricut. But this doesn't take very long. So the thing that I really like about putting two, so then you're going to put it on that side. Two of these together is you can layer them like this, and look at that. Doesn't that make a really cool impact? You can tuck them inside like this, you know, and it just really makes an impact, and it's going to really show off your flowers like that. How pretty is that? Okay. And then to do just a regular leaf, now these are so easy. I take a piece of paper. I just go up one side, cut the end off. Again, I'm making the most out of my paper that I possibly can. The other side, and then I take the end of scissors and I start at one end and I curve all the way down to the other end, just scoring the paper. You can kind of see where I've scored it. Thank you, Pam. Oh, Pam, are you in Italy? Wait a minute. Are you still in Italy? Okay. I curve this around. And then you have paper that kind of stands off of your board or whatever you're putting it on. And you can put one of these with it too. And it's going to give it kind of a dimensional look. You got home last night. Well, how fun. How was Dinner Rombo? She took one of our recommendations for Rome to eat there. I told the boys, I was like, oh, they said, is that the ravioli place? I said, yes. So good. You can curve this too if you want to. Let's roll this a little bit. fabulous. Oh, it was one of our favorite places. A friend of ours recommended it to us. And so we just keep passing on the recommendation. All right, there we go. You can see the dimension on that really well. So let's see if we can get all these together. Hold on, let me raise this up a little bit. Oh, you see my messy table. This is the pack of paper. I showed that at the beginning. Let's see if we can get these all kind of arranged together. I've been on here for an hour and I've been talking a lot. I don't think I'm going to be able to get them all on here, y'all. I don't think they'll all fit. Here we go. There we go. Been on here for an hour and I've made 1, 2, 3, 4 giant flowers and 3 leaf type situations, 3 pieces of foliage. How perfect is this for a classroom or a Sunday school room or your art room, your craft room, your she shed, whatever? Aren't they fun? I know. And just think about this. If you decided to do this and you wanted to do different colors of paper, you could, there's like a slight color shift in those paper packs. I'll show you. Let's see. We'll look at this one. You could do the center kind of more in this area and then do lighter either side out to the edges. That would be fun too. Chalking, inking, spray painting the edges. But I kind of like them like this too. I feel like they have a lot of impact. All one color is really pretty too. So, all right. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'm going to post some pictures of these in my friend's classroom when we get them hung up this weekend. And oh, Nina, go back and watch. I'll save it here on my page. It'll be under videos, but it'll also be just in the feed if you just scroll down. All right. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great night. Bye.